The Steam Next Fest has returned once again with the June iteration of the 3 randomly chosen points throughout the year for this event. This time we'll continue the challenge of only having 7 days to breeze through 700 demos of games with exciting action, tactical prowess, innovative design, and plenty of weird-ass stuff that will make you wonder if playing it will awaken something dark and twisted within you. If you're looking to awaken the murderous covert ops soldier that you've been suppressing in your mind, you might want to check out I Am Your Beast. Start out by taking 5 steps into a forest to initiate a Fight Club internal monologue while you learn all of the standard first-person shooter powers as well as treetop branch jumping like the Predator. Then go full John Wick on some guys that killed a bird you liked only to find out you're really good at killing people. Now you can go into missions racing the clock to speed murder the right number of soldiers with anything you find just lying around for the coveted prize of a letter grade. But only if you can survive these low-budget music video cutscenes between each mission where you can watch every word being spoken to the tune of an angry electronic soundtrack. But if you're looking for a more G-rated murderous rampage, there's always G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra. This standard beat-em-up puts you in the role of one of those classic military caricatures saving the world with a perpetual war between blue and red lasers. After you finish fighting over who gets to be the always coolest character of Snake Eyes, dive into a world of left-to-right carnage as you punch, kick, slash, and shoot your way through hundreds of generic mass Cobra boys like a real American hero. You'll even be able to occasionally bust out a special move like summoning this dog to kick everyone's ass right by your side. And every level will culminate with a boss fight like this one where I stunlock the dude just by punching him. Punching cobras can be cool, but slashing rats is better, and there's no better rat to slash than the Pirates of Cat Quest III. The third game in a series of open-world cat-based RPGs sets sail on the high seas as you blaze a trail across the overworld with swords, magic, guns, and good old-fashioned tall ships to wreak havoc on the violent foes of this world. When you're not scouring the main map for secret chests and killing everything that moves, you can shrink down into dungeons and taverns to equip yourself with the most pet-friendly gear and enjoy a milk saucer filled to the brim with feline-based puns, names, and virtually every other word on the screen. Magic-wielding cats may not be appealing to everyone, which is why I also decided to check out the more traditional magic wielders with Wizard of Legend 2. The follow-up to a roguelike hack-and-slash game that I backed on Kickstarter 8 years ago, this upcoming roguelike hack-and-slash puts you in the role of a wizard and gives you a chance to earn the coveted Of Legend. But this time, instead of a 2D pixel art world of getting your ass kicked by high-speed monsters, spells, and spellcasting monsters, you'll be in a 3D world where you can now also get your ass kicked by falling off the stage. But you can equip your own curated collection of spells to frantically spam at everyone trying to kill you and glue your finger to the dash button to dodge the thousands of attacks headed your way in every room. Wizards aren't usually known for their actions per minute though, so maybe you'd enjoy tackling the arcane arts with a more methodical approach in Tactical Breach Wizards. Now you can dive into a world where magic is part of everyday life in the role of a private investigator wizard trying to solve a mystery with another wizard also trying to solve a mystery, and in the classic case of mysteries, these mysteries are connected. And you'll crack the case by busting into room after room and spell-slinging lightning bolts and magical weapons to launch people out of windows and into less conscious states with every turn. All while engaging with hilarious dialogue at every opportunity that makes the non-game part of the game as fun as the game part of the game. Tactics aren't just for the mystical societies of the world. This meticulous turn-based precision is now part of a franchise where virtually everything on the screen is moving or exploding at all times, Metal Slug Tactics. Here you'll take a squad of those classic familiar characters that I don't know at all and place them on a tiny battlefield crawling with malicious enemies that straddle the delicate line between delightful nostalgia and racial caricature. Each of your units brings an assortment of weapons to the battlefield as well as special abilities to strategically assassinate, defend, or survive each scenario through the power of unhindered violence. You can even enhance your kill ability by lining up your battlefield heroes and letting them trigger automatic synchronized attacks for even more damage per turn. You can even take those tactics so far to the extreme that you can straight up kill a battleship. But if you want to build ships up rather than tear them down, then the game you'll want to check out is Uncle Chop's Rocket Shop. In a universe presumably filled with alien rest/repair/fuel/food stops, this is definitely one of them, and you take on the role of a multi-eyed dog creature that is the latest manager/only functional employee. But in your role of taking care of every wayward galactic traveler, you won't just be tapping some buttons in a minigame to fix up those ships. You'll have to read the fucking manual and figure out what you need to do and how you need to do it before you ever do a single thing. Otherwise, you and everyone else might end up dead well before you can be killed for not making your rent. And that's without even discovering all of the other weird-ass stuff going on. Keeping ships flying from the ground might not be as fun as keeping them flying while they're already flying, and that's the name of the game in a game named Airborne Empire. Not to be confused with Airborne Kingdom, this game from the same developer using the same logo with the same font on a game with the same premise has you navigating a colorful world and maintaining a flying city. But since the sky typically lacks important resources like wood and metal, you need to send squadrons of flying workers to the ground to scavenge for goods you need to stay aloft. There's no explanation for why your city building adventure has to take place exclusively 1,000 feet above the ground, but balancing your buildings and keeping that gigantic floating birdhouse aloft is pretty entertaining. Yet the physics-defying whirling blades of a flying city might be a little too peaceful for some, so that's why I checked out the whirling death blades of Megacopter. In this modern homage to the 90s classics Desert, Jungle, and Urban Strike, between your various middle-aged body failures, you can enjoy a nostalgic revisit to the isometric magic of swooping around in a helicopter and blowing shit up. As soon as you can figure out how to aim this strange reticle, you'll be blasting little pixelated creatures with machine guns, rockets, and lasers while scooping up ammo and power-ups and feeding your sentient flying machine the blood that it desires. But if there's some extra blood left over, you might end up being the one tasked with mopping it up with Goblin Cleanup. If you were a fan of Viscera Cleanup Detail or even Power Wash Simulator, you can get your weird psychological fix of cleaning up virtual worlds instead of your actual home once again. Except this time it's filled with the elements of the fantasy world like magical doors, deadly traps, and even a mimic chest for you to feed your gib chunks of former adventurers to. Just make sure you don't repair the traps before you're finished cleaning, else you might end up feeding your own gib chunks to your toothy companion. If you're down for some of your own fantasy dungeon adventuring, but you don't want to burden yourself with learning complex controls or fancy combos, you can leave it all to chance with Dungeon Clawler. Dive into the dangerous roguelike world of this brick floor with a gigantic claw machine in the background. Here you'll scoop up a collection of swords, shields, and I guess some random lint that will funnel down to your character to be tossed at these dungeon demons. On your journey, you'll gain new items to add to your pit and face new enemies ready to collect the pointy side of their prizes at the other end. You'll even get modifications to the claw machine itself with different types of claws and magnets and filling the pit with water for some reason. Also, you can get your ass handed to you 30 minutes later and start the whole thing over again. Magnets aren't just a cool way to pick up swords and shields though, they can also be the best way to solve puzzles exclusively involving metal and other magnets with Mind Over Magnet. From the creator of Game Maker's Toolkit, a YouTube channel about the mechanics of games, his years of talking about the work of others has finally come full circle. Now you can take on the role of this robotic unicycle as it takes to the world of gigantic magnets, drills, and warp pipes to solve puzzles and achieve whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Eventually, you'll also gain the aid of a sentient magnet that will make solving puzzles even more confusing, for fun. But solving puzzles doesn't always need to be about staring at a level and scratching your head. Sometimes it just has to be as intuitive as following your shadow, which is exactly what you'll be doing in Schim. In a universe where apparently some shadows are made from little dark frog things, you take on that role and enjoy jumping with your human counterpart as they journey through their entire life. But as is often the case with life, sometimes bad things happen and you fall down. Except this time when you fall down, you sever your mystical shadow connection and now the whole game is a treacherous journey of jumping your way back to the side of your bad luck buddy. Luckily, as a shadow frog creature, you can manipulate the objects whose shadows you jump into, taking this game from simple platforming to a masterwork of shadow puppetry. If one story of redemption from terrible circumstances isn't enough for you, you can always see what it's like to be marooned alone on a hostile planet with the Alters. After emerging from your capsule and learning how to go from running to straight up skedaddling across this rocky surface, you'll discover your new home and base of operations, a big-ass wheel. Inside of this wheel, you'll build an elaborate connected habitat while harvesting resources from this radioactive alien planet. But after finding and scooping up a heaping mound of blurry lines, you'll gain the power of disturbing cloning to help you do what you need to do while also having really spiteful conversations with yourself. Also, you can get that big wheel turning and go rolling on the rim world. But if you want to roll out with a little more speed and a few more wheels, you should definitely check out Victory Heat Rally's Shakedown. This blazing fast 2D 3D racing game takes the drift boosting of Mario Kart, takes out the turtle shells, and replaces it with enough speed that blinking becomes a risk you can't afford to take. But going fast on wheels is a thing of the past when you can hover just above the ground in Aero GPX. Since Nintendo gave up on the magic of F-Zero unless you want to race 100 people at a time, the indie developers of the world took over and created a game that delivers that blindingly fast hover racing feeling perfectly. But with the boost and energy meters separate, you can spend more time going fast and kicking ass and just a little less time worrying about blowing up. Unless you suck at racing like I do and can't figure out how to take a turn like you have functioning eyeballs. You'll definitely need functioning eyeballs to see the real future of wheelless vehicular travel when you check out What the Car. This follow-up to the not golf game What the Golf will have you trading in those tires for a wide variety of alternatives, each custom crafted to get you to the end of the level in the most creative way possible. Whether you're running on legs, walking on giraffe stilts, being a shark, or chopping vegetables, this game will make you question if you ever really knew what a car was, and what a car could truly ever be. Sometimes cars are even vans, and in Caravan SandWich you can cruise around some kind of confusingly pleasant post-apocalyptic world where you can solve puzzles, collect new parts, and track down your missing sister at a leisurely pace. But a van isn't a van unless it does some cool shit, and as you get new parts you can upgrade that van to help you seek out hidden objects in addition to getting you where you need to go faster than if you weren't inside of it. And when you get where you're going, you can puzzle platform your way to all of the best treats and treasures while fetching random stuff for everyone who happened to ask for it in the process. But the best place to find treasures is underground, and in Drill Core that's exactly where you'll be spending just about all of your time. With these games like Dome Keeper and Wall World fulfilling every dream I could ever have about digging my way to glory, this game puts you in more of a management role, guiding a platform full of miners, haulers, and guards into the abyss to methodically plunder all of the best jewels during the day. But as night falls, a whole swarm of these bastards descends on your drill-evator to blow up your core. Only a battery of wall-mounted turrets can fend them off, and it's your job to balance your resources between getting the goods and avoiding a horrific death. Staving off horrific death is a solid plan in most circumstances, and it's a good option in the twin-stick shooter Reality Break. This sci-fi shooter may look simple, and it is, but it also has all of those addictive qualities you'd want in a space-based RPG, like weird ships, explosions, lots of shiny particle effects, and crazy backgrounds that hurt your eyes. That's what I need to keep me entertained and excited for more, which I'll probably get whenever this actually releases. Releases are what the Steam Next Fest is really all about. People putting their games out there and hope that they'll collect those hot delicious wish lists so that when they release the game, people will actually be playing it. If you like the way any one of these games looked, go check it out in the links in the description and try the demo yourself. Maybe you'll be the one that delivers the dream to a game developer. Or you can check out more hot takes, warm satire, and tepid commentary from me and just live vicariously through my game playing experience. Both are acceptable.